Hi folks, so this video this morning is going to get a little adult themed and I'm a bit nervous to make it, but that's the information that's coming through right now, so it's time to share it, okay? So I have to set a little bit of a preface before I can get to the meat of this. So basically 2015, because um, this awakening process for the collective is kind of a, God, look at that nasty thing. Anyways, is kind of a, the process is a spectrum, right? So myself and my twin flame in 2015, we were right there alongside Gaia, participating with reawakening certain frequencies that are available to humanity again that year. Okay, and we learned a lot. We learned a lot about sacred sexuality, honoring the inner and outer divine masculine and feminine and such, and all these things. Like I said, I've been sharing this equation for a while as divine masculines. First, you honor the divine feminine within. When you honor the divine feminine outside of yourself, you can have divine co-creation, which leads to experiencing your multidimensional self, experiencing the creator you know. Us guys, we need to be in a place of honor to the divine feminine to experience that ultimate source of creation, basically our connection to it. It expands our connection to it just to beyond what we normally understand. Anyways, the kind of point with this morning, I've been learning about Christ oil and been experimenting with trying to preserve the inner oils, that come down from the center brain, go down to the solar plexus, and you're supposed to raise it back up. Supposed to bring a host of different benefits, okay? So, just like everything with the way I roll with things, how was I gonna... I had a funny word for this a few minutes ago in my head. I'm like the... I don't know how I wanted to say it. I'm like the whatever wizard, where I intuitively know things and can work with them before having a real working knowledge, like any kind of like logical level of knowledge of what I'm working with. It's just naturally kind of do that, right? So I'm like the haphazard wizard or something, right? But anyways, so not learned everything about this Christ oil yet. I'm trying to follow the edicts for preserving it and raising it each month, right? And I was like, me and my brother were talking about it. And it's like, oh, we haven't really looked at all the details yet. So I was meditating last month around the time it's supposed to be, this is supposed to go on, the secretion is supposed to go on when the moon is in your sun sign each month, right? So you have a 3-day period in which you have to really watch yourself and, stay in a serene state, as it were, right? But anyways, so I was doing that last month, and I sit to meditate, and I never have a focus because that's how intuitive shaman goes. I just do what I'm drawn to do. Then I find out later why it was so special and important and synchronous. That's how it always goes for me. So I sit and meditate. I'm just, feeling the energy go up through the chakras, and I feel a release at the solar plexus. And I'm like, what was that? Whoa. I mean, we're talking emotional release, tears, the whole thing, It's like, that was heavy and probably really positive. So, watching videos and catching up on that information this morning, and sure enough, it comes down and then is housed in the solar plexus before it rises back up. Holy shit. You guys, this is so important and so special. There is so much more to that in my head, like hours worth of information, and I end up sharing the main details in just a couple minutes like this. It always trips me out. But yeah, just about our sacred sexuality in general and everything. Oh, that's where it was. What had first hit me, the secrets behind all world religions, the secrets behind the separation between science and religion, all of it has to do with electromagnetism. You want to talk Nikola Tesla and infinite energy, electromagnetism. So this is where I said it was going to get a little adulty. Sacred sexuality. It's a different attitude. It's not this objectification, this base need to just get off, right? It's a little bit more than that. It's puts you in sensual connection with your entire world, with all life around you. Well, even immaterial objects. You're one with everything when you expand to infinity. It's not like anything I can really describe. properly with words. But anyways, so it hit me this morning. I was like, so even the co-creation between a divine masculine and divine feminine is related to electromagnetism. It's related to infinite free energy. And it's amazing when you co-create with your divine feminine and you're in a place of honor, speaking from the male perspective. It's, how do I want to say that? It's just the most amazing experience ever. But yeah, it feels like infinity. That's what I was saying. Like the intensity, the high frequency of the vibrations coming through and going out of you is it's incredible, okay? And then it hit me because, like, you see, the thing, people are always only looking at one half of it. This is part of the way they keep us from the information. Electromagnetism. There's two, people talk about gravity, but gravity is only pull. Gravity isn't push and pull. They're hiding the truth with that. And speaking of push and pull, that's what I mean. Like, somebody the other day on his video, he was saying, emotions aren't what you think they are. They're energy. And it's like, but yes, they are. The feelings connected to the emotion is what sends energy into motion, okay? That's why sacred sexuality is even valid at all, because it brings your emotions into it. It brings the heart into it, you know? You have to have the heart connecting the above and below, you know? If you're all in the lower chakras, that's like, well, along with that Christ oil information, you'll find out that in the Bible they laid the whole thing out. The landscape, the cities, everything, they corresponded it with the human body. So Sodom and Gomorrah would be your lower chakras, and you don't want to get caught up down there without being in touch with the higher chakras too. You know, it leads to materialism, basically, right? Feeding that material beast that can never be satiated. But anyways, so what I was getting at is this. In my last video, I was explaining the toroidal field in general, how it's got, these motions like this, right? It's feeding down in and then around, right? On both sides, right? Well, what happens in the middle with that energy is it spirals around as it goes, okay? This is literally, like, people don't think of these things. This is how they designed, like, say, a screw and a bolt. That's the same thing. The threads fit together because they're mirror opposites. What goes on in the dark is the mirror opposites match up perfectly. Well, this is the same thing as the phallus and the yoni. That's why the phallus is ribbed. That's why the yoni is like a spiral vortex, literally. That's like our fleshy organic version of a nut and a bolt, basically, you know? And what they create together is like infinite strength. So what I was getting at that I wanted to share with that too is part of the way that works, as far as sexual alchemy goes, is I had this equation come through. Well, me and my twin flame, we had this equation come through where we were guided to build up to the climax, to the male climax, and then that's when the female takes over and uses those muscles to pull. So it's like, because your sun energy, your yang energy is already about to burst forth. It's ready. So what hit me is when we would do the push and the pull at the same time and have that release, that's when you expand into your infinity. This is something we can experience without an actual physical release, something you can experience from within yourself. You don't need to co-create it. That's a different experience, and it's, got its own values. But I just wanted to share that with y'all real quick. All right.